Right now, there is something you are supposed to be doing. You know what it is. It has been sitting in the back of your mind for hours, maybe days. And instead of doing it, you are here, reading, scrolling, watching, doing almost anything except the thing you said you would do. You have probably told yourself the same story 100 times, that you are lazy, that you lack discipline, that other people somehow have something you do not, that if you could just try harder, focus more, care enough, you would finally stop doing this. But here is what the last 30 years of neuroscience actually say about procrastination. It has almost nothing to do with laziness. It is not a character flaw. It is not a productivity problem. It is an emotion problem, and your brain is doing it on purpose. To understand why, you have to go back much further than your to-do list. Your brain is not one thing. It is a layered system built across millions of years of evolution, and different parts of it have very different priorities. The oldest parts, the ones that developed long before language, long before planning, long before the concept of a deadline even existed, care about one thing above everything else: how you feel right now. Neuroscientist Fuschia Sirois at the University of Sheffield spent years studying procrastination and came to a conclusion that surprised a lot of people. Procrastination, she found, is fundamentally an emotion regulation strategy. When you avoid a task, you are not avoiding the work. You are avoiding the feeling the work produces. Think about what happens in the seconds before you open that document, send that email, make that call, start that project. There is a feeling. Maybe it is dread. Maybe it is boredom. Maybe it is anxiety about whether you will do it well enough. Maybe it is the low-level discomfort of uncertainty, of not knowing exactly where to start. Whatever it is unpleasant. And the moment you close the tab, put down the phone, decide you will do it later, that feeling goes away. Not forever, but right now, in this moment, it disappears. And your brain notices. This is the mechanism, not laziness. A very fast, very effective, deeply automatic emotional escape hatch that your nervous system learned works. The task produces discomfort. Avoidance removes the discomfort. The brain logs that as a successful solution. And the next time that task appears, the escape route activates faster, more automatically, with less resistance than before. Psychologist Timothy Pychyl at Carleton University calls this the cycle of procrastination. The task triggers negative emotion. You avoid it and feel better. The relief reinforces the avoidance. The task gets more loaded with dread every time you return to it, which makes the emotion stronger, which makes avoidance more appealing, which makes the task harder to start. You are not failing to do the work. You are succeeding at managing an emotion in the only way your nervous system currently knows how. But there is something else happening underneath this. Something that explains why some tasks paralyze you completely while others feel effortless. Researcher Piers Steel at the University of Calgary spent 2 decades building what he called the procrastination equation. He found that your brain's likelihood of avoiding a task is determined by a specific calculation it runs automatically, without your awareness, every single time a task appears in your mind. The calculation works like this. Your brain weighs the expected value of doing the task against the cost of doing it. Expected value includes how confident you are that you can do it successfully, how much you actually want the outcome, and how far away the reward is. Cost includes how unpleasant the task feels right now. And crucially, your brain heavily discounts future rewards. Not a little, enormously. Something that will feel wonderful in 3 months is worth almost nothing to the part of your brain running this calculation. Something that will relieve discomfort in the next 3 seconds is worth everything. This is why deadlines work. Not because they motivate you, because they bring the reward, the relief of being done, close enough in time for your brain to finally value it more than the discomfort of doing the work. Without a deadline, the future version of you who finishes the project feels like a stranger. Your brain does not protect strangers, it protects you. Right now. This second. This future version of you is not abstract philosophy. It has been measured. Psychologist Hal Hirschfield at UCLA ran a series of studies in which he showed people digitally aged images of themselves and found something striking. People who felt less connected to their future selves saved less money, made worse long-term decisions, and were more likely to behave in ways that hurt their future well-being. When you imagine your future self doing the work, your brain does not activate the same neural regions it uses for you. It activates the same regions it uses for strangers. Procrastination, in this light, is not self-sabotage. It is your brain protecting the only self it fully recognizes, the one standing here right now. So what does this mean for you today? It means that every strategy built on discipline alone is fighting the wrong battle. Telling yourself to just try harder is asking your emotional brain to lose a fight it is evolutionarily designed to win. The willpower approach to procrastination has roughly the same success rate as telling someone with a broken leg to just walk it off. Technically possible, rarely sustainable, not addressing the actual problem. What the research points toward instead is something more precise. Sirois and her colleagues found that self-compassion, treating yourself the way you would treat a friend who was struggling, significantly reduced procrastination by breaking the shame spiral that makes avoidance feel necessary. When you judge yourself harshly for procrastinating, you add another unpleasant feeling to an already unpleasant task. More emotion, more avoidance, more procrastination. Cycle's research showed that the most effective entry point is not the whole task. It is the next action, not the project, not the presentation, not the conversation. The next physical, concrete, specific action. Open the document, write one sentence, send one message. Your brain does not run its avoidance calculation on the abstract idea of finishing something. It runs it on the immediate experience of starting. And starting something small produces far less emotional threat than the enormous invisible shape the full task has taken in your mind. And Piers Steel's procrastination equation points to another lever: confidence. The higher your belief that you can actually succeed at a task, the lower the emotional cost of starting it. Anxiety about competence is one of the largest drivers of procrastination, especially in people who care deeply about doing things well. Perfectionism is not a high standard. It is a threat detection system. It scans for the possibility of failure and classifies the task as dangerous before you have even begun. The brain that procrastinates is not a broken brain. It is a very efficient brain doing exactly what it was built to do: protect you from discomfort, keep you safe from failure, preserve your emotional state in the present moment at almost any cost to your future. The problem is not that it is doing its job badly. The problem is that it learned its job in a world without deadlines, without career consequences, without the slow accumulating cost of a life where the important things never quite get started. Right now, there is something you are supposed to be doing. Your brain has been protecting you from it for a reason. But the door out of that protection is not discipline. It is understanding what the protection is actually for and offering your nervous system something smaller, safer, and more immediate to move toward instead. The next action is not the whole thing. It is just the next thing. And that, it turns out, is something even the most avoidant brain in the world can almost always do.